Hi guys, it's Ronke here. So I'm going to be showing you how I kind of go about navigating meal planning and meal prep for my family of 4. So this week I intend to make, actually this weekend for next week, I intend to make some stew and okra. So at the start of every week, when I'm meal planning for the week, usually I try to do at least 2 meals, right? So the kids don't eat lunch at home because they're either at school or at daycare. So I don't really meal plan for that. I don't meal plan for the weekend. We're just flexible on the weekend, but I try to meal plan from Monday to Friday as a core planning. So I try to have at least 1 soup and something that is either a rice-based dish or something that can go with rice. So this week I am making stew, and then I'm also going to be making some okra soup if I can find okra. Actually, if I don't find okra, then no okra soup, then I'll let you know. I'll let you guys see what I make. But first of all, I'm showing you what I typically would buy. So I live in Canada, for those who do not know, and I like Nigerian style chicken. I think we call it N or something back home, but it's so hard to find because most of the meats that you find in stores here are mostly soft chicken, and I don't like those, especially for stew. I would do soft chicken stew, but intentionally do that. When I'm making Nigerian style stew, I like to use hard chicken, and here is where you go. So you go to Asian markets. This is where I find my own. I used to buy it directly from the farm as well, but that's story for another day. But I'm showing you guys what it kind of looks like when you buy it from the Asian market. So this morning I stopped at my Asian market, and this is what the meat looks like. So it's it comes in a pack, frozen like this, a pack of 2. So inside this bag there are actually 2 whole chickens. And if you don't like cutting it by yourself, then this is not for you, because you have to cut it. It doesn't come pre-cut or anything. So I bought 2 packs of 2, so 4 in total, and I'm going to be using the 4 for my stew. So I'm using the 4, and I'm also going to be adding a little bit of beef. I have beef coming in, so I buy my beef directly from the farm because it's not tenderized. I don't like to use tenderized beef. So my beef is going to be coming in. I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Buying beef from the farm I find as being the cheapest option, because buying it from the store is very expensive. So the meat I'm getting, I'm going to tell you the cost and show you guys when I get it. But for the 2 packs of chicken, I spent $19. It was about $9.50 for each pack of 2. That's very confusing, isn't it? For each pack. So each pack has 2 whole chickens. So for the 2 whole chickens, it was $9.50. So for the 4, I spent $19, and I'm going to carry you guys along as I kind of plan and stuff. So come along with me, guys. Okay, so yesterday I went to 2 grocery stores. That's kind of what I do. I go to Walmart to buy things, and then I go to Superstore. But most of my grocery shopping actually I do at Superstore. So I spent about $60 at Walmart. Ask me what I bought. I don't know, because I didn't have to buy anything big. I bought fish for the okra soup, and then I went to Superstore. Usually Walmart has okra, but it's a bit more expensive than Superstore, I find. So I like to buy okra from Superstore, which is about $4 something per pound regular, but usually they have it on sales $2.99 or $3. Anyways, let me show you. I bought okra, which is this much, for which when you buy okra and you bring it home, sometimes you have to cut a hole in it. If it's too humid inside, and it starts to go bad even if you put it in the fridge. So I usually just cut the bag just so that there is airflow. Anyways, I bought okra from Superstore. This was about $5.17 for this okra, which is what I'm going to use for the soup. And then I bought fish. I started defrosting it. This is wild cod. It's actually one of my absolute favorites. Fish is super high in protein, so this actually has about 17 grams of protein for just 70 calories, which is a lot. But I'll use this entire bag for my okra soup. I'm still going to add dried fish because you can't really use this kind of fish to give any flavor. But I bought this from Walmart. They have this at Walmart. They have them at, they have wild, not this brand shop, but they have wild cod at Costco. It's so expensive. So Walmart is the wild cod, and this bag is about just less than $10, $9.97. So that's that. For the stew that I'm making, I already have stew base at home that I made. I make a included batch of stew base usually. I already have stew base at home. My beef that I'm going to use is coming tomorrow. My chicken, you already know what that's about. So yeah, we're gonna continue with this. So the meat that I ordered from the farmer got delivered. Home delivery, guys. I don't like going to the farm. I used to do that a long time ago, not anymore. So he brought the beef already cut up for the most part, right? But usually they will include like steak cuts. I don't eat steak, so I'll just like cut everything into like stewing beef. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Then I would typically pack the beef, so I don't wash it prior, because then, you know, you just get like things all over. I would usually wash the meat before I cook it. So I'll typically just pack everything into like individual Ziploc bags. For this batch, I got 8 bags in total, and this will last us for the next 3 months. Now, when I say 3 months, it doesn't mean that this is all we're eating for 3 months. It just means, you know, with chicken, turkey, like adding other kinds of protein, this will typically last about 3 months. I pack the meat inside individual Ziploc bags because then I can just take like the portion that I need. So typically I would defrost like 1 bag, and in that 1 bag I would typically use like a bag for stew if I'm just making like beef stew. If I'm like prepping meat for soup, I would typically defrost 1 bag, and then once I boil everything, cut into like smaller pieces. I'll portion into about like 3 smaller bags, and those 3 smaller bags will last me for like 3 weeks of making soups. So after my chicken was all chopped up, I cooked it. I do not like to pressure cook my chicken because I'm just that texture sensitive. So I usually would boil it for about an hour, 20 minutes-ish on low medium heat, just because it's tougher, so it requires more time. And then here is my stew base. So like I said, I usually make my stew base ahead of time, which is super helpful. And then I just got my rice and beans ready. I used the Instant Pot, and I'm actually doing an extended recipe. This recipe is a lifesaver, honestly. The Instant Pot is very useful. Chopped my okra. I unchop, guys, because again, like I said, I'm texture sensitive, so I do not use any machine for my okra chopping. I take the time to actually chop it. And then, you know, I got into making my base. Now this is frozen meat. Remember I said I usually would like, you know, freeze portion of my meat. It just makes life so easy. So I usually would use a pack like this in my okra soup. And yes, you can see there isn't palm oil swimming in here because we are lean in our cooking approach. But yes, so I made the okra soup using the frozen meat. I didn't have to cook any of the fresh meat because I already had some frozen meat at home. It makes life so easy when you're cooking. And then when it comes to okra soup, one tip that you should always keep in mind is you want to add the okra super late in the game. For super flavorful okra soup, most of the work is in the broth, right? So you're cooking the base. Cook the base for as long as you want, but the okra itself, add it in just in the last 2 minutes. Once you stir it in and you see a little bit of bubble, it's ready. Turn off the heat and it's good to go. If you're using cast iron pot especially, don't leave it in the pot for too long because it just continues to cook. So that concludes my meal prep for this week. I made stew. I ended up making just chicken stew. I also made rice and beans, and I ended up making like some fish stew because I didn't really want to eat like meat this week personally. My people will not eat it because it's not fried fish, so it's just for me. And then so my son will typically have lunch given to him at school/daycare. My daughter likes sandwiches or wraps. Like she would not take like jollof rice or pasta or anything to school. I used to feel bad about it because I'm like with all the food that I cook, try and take something else. No, she wants either wrap or sandwiches. So I made her sandwiches for the week, and then I usually would pack up her fruit as well so she can just like grab one and go. On the days that my son has school, they typically would take like a snack, and so we would take like crackers or something or goldfish for a snack, and then I usually would pack him like grapes, even though I would still get the grapes back when he comes. I'm the one that ends up eating his grapes, but I still pack it just for the sake of him having something. He doesn't eat a lot, so anyways, so that's for meal prep, guys. So we have stew, we have rice and beans, we have okra soup, seafood okra with a side of beef. The side of meat is what we have. So we'll typically do like 2 nights of soup, 2 nights of rice dishes, and then we'll like flex, and that's it until next week again. We'll just, yeah, that's how I navigate my weekly meal preps. So my question for you is, do you typically plan your family meals, or are you like the genius that just like, you're flexing it every day as you go along? So anyways, I'm going to be carrying you guys along. I used to do this series on Instagram called Cook Along with Runke, so this is kind of like an extended version of that. I hope you join me. Alright guys, see you again next week, maybe. Bye.